Good afternoon, Rob.
Good afternoon, Michelle.
Here we have the equivalent figure material task cards. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is an interesting case. So the equivalent figure material is a large. It usually is in a cabinet. It comes with it's a series of about 16 different insets, all metal insets, metal or wood insets, and they're showing very specific relationships between specific shapes. So in that way, it falls under the category of a much larger area in geometry that we usually refer to as the relationship between figures. And that means figures can be congruent, they can be similar, or they can be equivalent. We use the constructive triangles as part of that as well. But here's a material, unlike some Montessori materials which are very versatile and you use the same material to teach a wide variety of things, this one is very specific. So we're going to use this inset to show the equivalence between a rectangle and a trapezoid. We're going to use this specific one to show the relationship between a decagon and a rectangle. And it's all in service of getting the children towards, we study equivalence really to study area. And so, very abstract things like, boy, how do you find the area of a circle? Like, how do you find out how many squares are contained in something that's just a series of curved, figures? So we want a strong foundation in equivalency to get us there, and that's what that material does. It might take a teacher, it might take a parent, 10 weeks, 14 weeks to get through all these presentations, because generally you're doing them like 1 week at a time. You're showing them the child is working on that, maybe doing diagrams as well. And it almost always ends up in the form of a trapezoid would be equivalent to a rectangle when the bases are such as the bases are such and such. And so there's that part of the work. What I like about this work is not only does it support it, but it's almost like extension work off of it. It takes the concepts that the child is learning and says, well, how would you make a trapezoid that contains these different shapes in it? And the child can then refer back to the equivalency cabinets to find those, to find those out. I think if there's a limitation to the equivalency figure cabinet is you present it to the child, you work with the child to come up with a statement about it, and you identify all the parts of it, but then we're left with, again, sort of like what do we do now? Do we repeat the exercise? Do we draw lots of trapezoids and lots of rectangles that are equivalent to each other? And that's valuable work. What I like about this is it really takes the child actually back to the cabinet and does a little bit more concrete work rather than strictly just drawing and finding equivalence on their own. So it is a command card, it is a task card, and so again, this doesn't ever replace the teacher or the parent's presentation. It certainly doesn't replace the work itself. So you're looking for something that a child can work with independently or with a friend, and then of course geometry is language, right? Arithmetic is language, and so we see that as we're coming up with these new words, trapezoid, rhombus, equivalence, the child is also getting lots of experience with seeing the words, reading the words, and learning the vocabulary. So yeah, a nice addition to the work.
Okay, thank you.